Hey, what's up, guys? This is Mansplaining Mike. This is the Mansplaining Mike Show. And today, we're going to do something a little bit different. I've been bad talking the Democrats ever since I started this channel. But today, I'm going to take the opportunity to do the opposite. That's right. I'm going to badmouth J.D. Vance, who's the opposite of a Democrat. In fact, he's Trump's running mate. And a lot of people will say, why do you want to do that? I thought you were America first. I thought you loved Donald Trump. And I do. And I'm still going to vote for Donald Trump. I just hope that he takes this time that he has before the election to switch out J.D. Vance for somebody else. Because this guy isn't really American first. And there's some really disturbing information that came across to me too. There's been information that came out about J.D. Vance cross-dressing. And I could have been the first one to come out with this. I heard about it about 3 days ago. And the reason I didn't come out and talk about it was because I wanted to verify it first. Because I didn't want to believe that Trump's pick could be a cross-dresser. And here he is, cross-dressing, over here on the right. Now, the reason I didn't come out with it when I first got it was because I wasn't really sure that this was him. I mean, he had the wig on and the makeup, and he had shaved his beard. So it looked like maybe this wasn't J.D. Vance to me, and maybe it was just somebody who had a similar facial structure. And I wanted to wait a couple days to see if any contrasting information came out. And it didn't. The only thing that came out is more pictures of J.D. Vance cross-dressing. And then more proof of it being him too. Because as you can see here on the left, he doesn't have the wig on. He still has the makeup on. But his excuse well, he didn't even make the excuse. There was an excuse I heard that this was a Halloween party. But as you can see, the other guy isn't dressed in a Halloween costume. So I can't really buy into that this was a Halloween party. Because if he was the only one dressed up at this Halloween party, this didn't seem too much of a Halloween party at all. Other than a get together with him and some guy, and they were drinking, and J.D. Vance was cross-dressing. I mean, that's the story I get from that picture and the pictures I've seen. And then you can see here, I gave it time. I wanted him to come forward and deny it, but he didn't. So don't take it as I just wanted to bash Trump's VP pick. But I think we have to be honest if we're going to cover the news, and I cover the news here. So I got to cover the good and the bad from both sides. Like I say, I still plan to vote for Donald Trump, but this definitely makes me reconsider voting at all. Because I'm against all of this cross-dresser shenanigans and all of this left-leaning ideology. Not only that, I'm a pro-worker type of guy. And I thought J.D. Vance was good for workers because that's what the unions had came out and said. And I don't really trust unions, but I mean, I wanted to be able to trust that Donald Trump had picked a running mate who was great for workers. And Donald Trump makes mistakes from time to time, so that's just what I think this was a mistake that he still has time to fix, hopefully. But you can see that there's also damning reports that links J.D. Vance to horrific work conditions. And one of the workers came forward in the same article and started talking about what some of those work conditions were. You'll be able to see that on the screen right there. And I'll go ahead and do a little quick read of a couple paragraphs of this so we can see what we really think. So the worker said at first things were going really well. And he said one of the new hires, Anthony Morgan, he said his hours as a crop care specialist were manageable and that the benefits were great. They were better than anything else in the area. But a few months later, production fell behind and workers were put under more pressure. The company cut employee health care benefits along with other costs, and hours were increased. So there was an increase of hours and a decrease in benefits. That doesn't sound pro-worker to me. And I had said that, some unions had came forward about J.D. Vance being great for workers or whatever. But I also want to point out that unions lie. That's right, unions aren't always on the worker side. And I know a lot of people are going to be really pissed that I said that or whatever. I don't really care. Be pissed. But a lot of these unions really don't look out for the workers and the workers' rights. A lot of these unions look out for the managerial class and just try to keep that paycheck coming in. That's why there's so very few worker protests or walkouts or any of that, because the union's job is really to keep the workers working for the employers who also pay the union. I mean, the union also gets money from the union benefits that are paid out or whatever from everybody's check, but they also usually get, they're also usually workers there and they also get a check. So, I mean, it makes sense that they would look out for their employer, right? Especially when they're getting more money and they feel like they're above everybody else. And that's what a lot of these unions do. I'm not saying all of them, but that's what it seems like the unions who had endorsed J.D. Vance were about anyway. Because I follow the auto unions a lot, as I am from Michigan. In fact, I'm from Detroit. I was raised on the east side of Detroit. I don't live there anymore, of course. I mean, everybody wants to make it out of Detroit. So I made it out and I'm not there anymore, but I still know about that. And I was also a truck driver. And I was a truck driver that went from Michigan to Illinois. At least that's the route I had signed up for when I had taken my job with Swift. But a few months later, those runs were completely shattered. Like there was no more run from Detroit to Chicago, from the auto manufacturing and the auto part manufacturing plants to Chicago, because the auto manufacturing and the auto parts manufacturing plants in Michigan were sent to Mexico and sent overseas to other countries. So my job was pretty much outsourced. I could stay over the road, but I wasn't even making any money over the road. At least not the same type of money, and it was costing me a lot more because I would have to eat all of my meals on the road, and there was times where there wouldn't even be any runs. Like I think my last run was to Atlanta, Georgia, and I was dropping off car parts there. And when I got there, I dropped off the car parts, and I was already out for like 3 weeks. My boss had asked me to do him a favor and take like an extra run for him. So I had taken a run even though I was supposed to be at home, and then like it was like a week-long run it ended up, because I went from Detroit to West Virginia to Kentucky to Illinois, then to Atlanta, and then that was fine. Like that, I was moving good. I was about to get back home, and I was moving fast too, because back then you could use double log books. I hope I don't get in any trouble for talking about that. I think it's too long ago where it would matter anyway. But you could run double log books and just stay running, like try to run 24 hours a day or 20 and shut down for 4, whatever you were going to do. But really you're only supposed to drive like 10 or 11 hours. I'm thinking it's 10 and 4 off, and then you can drive again, something like that. And then you have to take a reset too. I don't remember all the rules because I'm not driving trucks anymore. If I was driving trucks, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. But anyway, I ended up in Atlanta and I got laid over for a week. There was no runs to get me back home or anywhere close to home. So I just sat in Atlanta for a week not doing anything. And when you sit there for a week not doing anything, you're not earning. Everything you eat is still coming out of a truck stop because you're still on the road. So you're paying for every meal and you don't have an income. You're just sitting there for a week away from your family, away from your friends for no reason, not even getting paid for it. So that's why I stopped driving trucks. And that's also how I have so much information about the car parts being shut down under Obama's administration. When he signed NAFTA and legislation like TPP, it really screwed truck drivers. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope this was informative to you. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.